finally, guys, we're going to end the show with RPGs. Now, we're going to kind of go through these a little quicker than the other segments. And the reason for that is we didn't play a lot of these. If you guys know me, I don't play a lot of turn-based RPGs. And even action RPGs are kind of a stretch. It just depends on the game, honestly. Um, I won't go down that rabbit hole of explaining why I feel that way. But there were a few exclusive ones. This was when Xbox was really making a push to get Japanese games on the console. So they actually got, quite a few exclusive RPGs. And we should start with their in-house RPG, which eventually they maybe it wasn't at first, but it became an in-house RPG, and that was Fable 2 and 3, because one was on the
Hmm.
original Xbox.
Yeah, yeah. The Fable series was pretty popular.
I don't
Pretty
think I played
popular.
2 or 3. I did play the first one though, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was pretty good.
I did. I played the first one. I did enjoy it. The second one, again, and that's the problem with like RPGs. Unless I'm super invested in it, I'll start it and I'll enjoy it to a point. But then something will come out because at this time there were a lot of games coming out each week, and I'll play it and it'll catch my attention. But then here comes something else new and shiny, and then the RPG kind of gets pushed to the side.
Yeah, I'm very similar. First of all, it has to be an action RPG. We'll start there. But if it's an action game that has RPG elements, that's the way I'm most likely to get addicted to something. Currently I'm playing Horizon Forbidden West, which I've been playing since February. I have over 90 hours into the game. I'm closely approaching 100 hours, and I have yet to beat the game. That's what will happen under certain circumstances. But then there's other circumstances where it's just like a traditional RPG, and I'm like, don't come near me. Don't even get close. I won't even turn the console on to play you. So I'm a very odd person when it comes to that. It just has to be the right style. Fable
Okay.
kind of fits that style, but like you just said, if it captures me, I'm down that rabbit hole. If it doesn't,
Hmm.
whatever. What's the next thing?
But this next RPG grabbed my attention because, as I've mentioned, I'm a huge anime fan. I love Dragon Ball Z, and the creator of Dragon Ball Z, Akira Toriyama, did the character designs for Blue Dragon, and I want to say that was the first JRPG for the 360, if I'm not mistaken. And it sold just on the fact that it was the art style and the character designs were the same guy that did Dragon Ball Z, so they had that look.
It was that plus I believe some bigger guys who were at Square left and made their own studio, and that's who was also making this.
Making Blue Dragon, right? So that was one I was excited to play, and I did play pretty far in it. I want to say I did beat it. Was it fantastic? Nah, not really, but it was okay. It held my attention. It was fun. Yeah.
I feel like that statement that you just made kind of sums up almost all the RPGs for Xbox. Was the best? No, but it was all right. It was pretty fun.
you know, eh, it was what it was, and we enjoyed it for what it was. Like I said, because there were very slim pickings as far as RPG is concerned. So, and then we had, you know what? Then we had like Lost Odyssey. And now my son played Lost Odyssey from beginning to end, and he enjoyed it. I started playing it, but again, like I said, it was okay. It was decent, but I kind of got sidetracked by the next new shiny thing, and it kind of went to the wayside. So
So my understanding is Lost Odyssey is supposed to be like one of the best RPGs on the Xbox. So I'm not sure if it's because you didn't finish it or if maybe it just wasn't your cup of tea. But Lost Odyssey is supposed to be like right up there with like the best RPGs on the Xbox 360.
okay. My son loved it. He played it from beginning to end, and he really enjoyed it. And
Yeah,
he was not he. It took him a minute to get into RPGs in general. So when he
I
picked it up
understand.
and played it, he liked it a lot. So
That's
I'm
awesome,
just
man.
going off of his feedback.
Yeah, I think some other ones we can probably mention. You can tell me if we played any of these. Let me just throw them out there. If you want to discuss them any further, we can. But we're just going to mention these real quick: Eternal Sonata, Last Remnant, Enchanted Arms, Tales of Vesperia. I haven't played any of those. I don't have much to say about any of them, but they exist and they're exclusive. Do you want to talk about any of those?
I mean, Last Remnant was put out by Square, and I think the hype around that was it was like Square's first RPG for the 360,
Hmm.
and it had a shiny cover, so it caught my attention. I bought it, and it's still sitting on my shelf sealed.
I mean, what you're saying, like, if you put it into today's context, you just said, I think that was Square's first exclusive RPG for the Xbox 360. Since Xbox 360, when has Square made an exclusive RPG for Xbox?
I don't think they have.
Not, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but they got nothing. Whatever they were doing for this time, at least they were making an effort to like get Japanese games in the console. And I feel like today maybe they're starting to do that again. But like, what the hell did you guys do for the entire Xbox One generation? You messed up so bad that like it's not even like a thought that these games would even be on your system anymore.
Yeah, man, it's so depressing. Eternal Sonata again. I started it. It was fine. It was another JRPG. Uh, Customers loved it. Customers who were really into RPGs loved it. It was fine. I just didn't spend enough time on it to really, really enjoy it like I should have because other stuff was coming out too fast that I had to jump into. Enchanted Arms was another one. But Mass Effect though, Mass Effect was good. That was really good.
I never played it.
Oh, yeah, man. Mass Effect was something special.
I really do want to play it, but I feel like my problem with getting into it is like I mentioned earlier, I do like starting out at the beginning of the series. And from what I hear, Mass Effect 1 is very heavy into the RPG side of things. And if you go to 2 or 3, it's more of the action side of things. So I feel like I would actually enjoy 2 or 3 more, but I also don't want to skip 1. So it's like a conflict I have. And I think that's why I've never even given the series a shot, is because 1 is kind of like, I'm not that interested. And I feel like I need to play that
Mm.
before I play 2 and 3.
Just for story wise, yes. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't as bad as you think it is, as far as like traditional RPGs. Uh, because it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was made by BioWare,
Yeah, Bioware made all 3.
and BioWare did some good stuff. So we weren't disappointed. We got knowing if you had BioWare making it, just like kind of rare, you kind of knew what to expect.
Back
But
then, yes, Bioware was like, that name meant something back then, for sure.
yes, it did. Yes, it did. So, and Witcher, I never played. I heard it was great, but I never played it.
I never played it either. 3 is the big one. Most people played 3. I actually have 3. I just never got around to checking it out. I feel like out of all the games on this list, Witcher's probably the one I'm going to play before any of them, followed
Okay.
closely by Mass Effect. But I feel like if I play
Okay.
any of these, it's probably just because I feel like Witcher sort of aligns itself like with Assassin's Creed games, sort of, kind of, sort of. And the new Assassin's Creed games specifically are really RPG focused. Like The Witcher, I feel inspired Assassin's Creed, and I really
Mhm.
like the new Assassin's Creed games. So it's like, well, then maybe I would really like The Witcher. So
See, I didn't do the new Assassin's Creed, the past two, because they're too time consuming for me. I
yes,
don't have the time to invest. And I hear Odyssey and I heard Valhalla are phenomenal games. I don't have the time. I just don't to
personally, I
do.
played every Assassin's Creed West. Valhalla, whatever. You can. It's fine. It's fine. Odyssey is probably my favorite or second favorite Assassin's Creed game. Odyssey is like top notch stuff.
Really.
It's so not the side West. The side missions were exciting in that game. Put over 100 hours in. I got a platinum trophy in that game. It took me forever, but Odyssey is like something truly special. You really, really need to play Odyssey. But if you play it, this is the difference. You can pick the Cassandra or the dude Alexios. You can pick one of them. Pick Cassandra. Do not pick Alexios, and you'll be so much happier.
Huh. I, I think the last Assassin's Creed game I actually played was, I can't remember, the brother and sister one in London.
Oh, that was London. Unity was France. London would have been
Syndicate.
Syndicate. Yeah, that's it.
That's the one.
Unity was not good. Syndicate was good.
Yeah,
That was like one of the last traditional style Assassin's Creed games. So you never played Origins either, huh?
I didn't. I didn't because it started to venture off, and you had to do too much, and I just didn't have the time
If
to
you have the
invest in
time,
it.
please go play Odyssey. For the love of God, when you have the time, go play that game. It is so good. You need probably about 60 to 80 hours, probably.
One day, one day.
I mean, 60 is you can probably do 40 to 60. You can probably like mainline the story or something and like do a couple side missions and things. All right, guys. Well, that was our episode about exclusives for the Xbox 360. Now, we did only cover first party, third party, and RPGs. There may be some other ones out there, but we feel like we put most of them together for you guys. If we forgot to mention any, please drop a comment. Let us know. We'll be happy to acknowledge them in the comments for you. Don't forget to go and support us over on Patreon, guys. For just $1 a month, you guys can support this show as well as the other shows that we produce. Make sure you guys check out our website, nerdenthusiast.com. We have a blog on there. You guys can check out all sorts of different stuff we cover. Also, you guys can check out our other shows. We cover stuff like Disney, toys and collectibles, poker, wrestling, all sorts of things. Go over to nerdenthusiast.com. You can see all our blogs on there as well. Movies are up there all the time. We cover everything. Check it out. Wes, I want to thank you for joining me today. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it.
Of course, man. We talking about games. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. So it's all good.
Absolutely. If people want to find you, where can they find you at?
Again, you can find me on Instagram at Grendel5XBX, and if you're in the Atlantic City area, you can reach me at Level Up Entertainment.
I'm Matt. You guys can follow me at from NJ to CA over on Twitter. The two is a number two. And until next time, you guys take care.
Have a good one, guys.